In this video of our matrix operations, we're going to focus on adding and subtracting matrices. So I'm going to begin with these two square matrices. It looks like I have a 2 by 2 matrix and another 2 by 2 matrix. There's actually the identity matrix, but we can add and subtract it just like any other matrix. Okay, and so what I do to add them is I add the corresponding elements. So for example, if I want to add matrix A plus matrix I, here's how that would look. The top left element in this sum matrix would be the top left element of A plus the top left element of I, so it would be 1 plus 1. The bottom left element would be 5 plus 0. Then we'd have negative 2 plus 0. And then lastly, we'd have 12 plus 1. And if I wanted to simplify, I could do that. So let's see, we'd have 2, negative 2, 5, and 13. So when you add a matrix to another matrix, your sum is going to be a matrix. And that matrix is going to be the same size as the two matrices that you added. Okay? Now let's look down here. Now we're going to subtract them. It's really just same song, different verse. Now we're just going to subtract all those corresponding elements. So now I'm going to do 1 minus 1, and negative 2 minus 0, 5 minus 0, and 12 minus 1. So whenever I subtract matrix A minus matrix I end up with 0, negative 2, 5, and 11. Once again, my resultant matrix, which is what we might call this, has the same dimensions as my original two matrices. Let's do one more slide. Now I have three matrices. I'll call these matrices B, C, and D. And first we're going to add matrix B plus matrix C. And so this introduces us to the first of our kind of properties, or maybe you'd even think of it as a gotcha about adding matrices. But notice this matrix is a 2 by 2, and this one is a 1 by 3. Note these two matrices are not the same size, so we cannot add them. And that's important. Matrices must be the same size. They must have the same dimension for you to either add them or subtract them. Okay? Now, let's do matrix C plus matrix D. It looks like we have a 1 by 3, and I'm adding it to another 1 by 3. Okay? And so we can do that. They're the same size, so I'm just going to kind of draw out my matrix here. And it looks like we have negative 5 plus 6. I added the first element of each matrix, then 2 plus negative 2. And then lastly, we have 1 plus 4 by adding the last element in each matrix. Now, as a simplify, it looks like we got 1, we got 0, and we got 5. And this is our resultant matrix. That is our answer right there. So adding and subtracting matrices, very easy, very straightforward. Just make sure that your matrices are the same dimension, because I always try to trick people with that.